who runs the sailor. They're all one.
The captain,
The
the
captain.
captain, the captain drives the ship. The director drives the captain.
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, every one of you, and some of you watching us live from Facebook, and welcome on board the Logos Hope. What is it? Floating Library?
Loading book.
Yes. I am Abdul Sila and the coordinator for the Choosing Generation Sierra Leone One Book a Month initiative. We are into the 11th review session for this year. Choosing Generation since the start of 2021 introduced the One Book a Month reading initiative, um, which aims to promote the culture of reading among Sierra Leoneans, young Sierra Leoneans especially. And we are here today to review our November read, which was the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Before going further with the program, I'd like us to do a quick round of introduction so we will at least know each other. Some of us, or all of us, do know ourselves, but our colleagues in here we do not know. So, like I mentioned, I'm Abdul Sila. I am the coordinator for the One Book a Month initiative. I'd like to start with you. Your
I'm Isaac Kambalai,
mhm,
member of the One Book Initiative.
you are.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited, very pleased to be here. And my name is Joel Abdullah Kalon, and I'm the founder and outgoing national coordinator for Choosing Generations.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stefana, a member of the One Book Movement.
Good afternoon. I'm Aisha Kamara, member CGSL.
Good afternoon. I am Esther Binta Diallo, a friend of CJSF and a member of One Book a Month Initiative.
Good afternoon, all. I'm pleased to be here. I'm main coordinator for CGSM and also member of One Book a Month. I'm pleased to be here.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Elizabeth Bangua. I am a friend of CPSL and I'm pleased to be here.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Mohamed Adam Sise. I'm the finance coordinator of CBSF and a member of the One Book Initiative.
Good afternoon. I'm Nijimono, a member of CGSL and also a member of the One Book Initiative.
I am Harry Nikago. I am the national coordinator elect of Chosen Generation and a member of the One Book a Month. I am excited to be here and I'm very happy about the hospitality we received so far.
My name is Alassane Jallo. I'm the Deputy National Coordinator elect of Chosen Generation Sierra Leone. It's exciting. We've gone through 11 books so far, and hopefully we'll go through 12 by the end of December. Hope the festivities give us chance to do that, and I am really excited to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tracy Beckman. I am the Deputy Communications Person for CGSL. I am also a member of the One Book a Month meeting group. I am so proud of myself. I thought I couldn't, but I just took the venture, and it's a pleasure being here. I'm grateful.
Hi, I'm Peter, a friend of TG, and I just want to commend you guys for this. It's amazing. And thank you for bringing me along because I saw a lot of books that I like. Thank you. Thank you for having us on board.
Sure. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Randy Greavy. I'm director on board the ship here. I live with my wife. We don't have a house, a car, a dog, or a cat. This is my home. I look forward to doing a little training here shortly.
So you leave books.
I live books, I smell books.
Thank you, Andy. As Joel mentioned, the hospitality, or you mentioned the hospitality has been super. Thank you so much for hosting us. Um, like I've mentioned this a couple of times, we are here for our review session. But before we go further, we would like our outgoing national coordinator. Oh, sorry about that. Would like our outgoing national coordinator to say a word or two, maybe introduce the Choosing Generation Sierra Leone to you, and as well express our appreciation to the Logos Hope team for hosting us. So, Mr. Carol.
Thank you, Captain Gribi.
Director.
Oh,
The captain of the captain.
exactly. Director. The hospitality has been absolutely, impressive. We cannot thank you enough. We understand all of you are volunteers, but just touching lives around the world. We are pleased to be here. We are really pleased to be here. CGSL is a community of young, outstanding leaders, men and women who want to change society. We have dared to dream. We believe, um, as the name of your vessel, Logos Hope. We are hopeful about the future of this country. And that's why we have just assembled ourselves to make a difference. So thank you for the hospitality. Thank you for treating us to what has been a very exciting tour around. We hope to enjoy the conversation and learn from you as much as possible, Captain. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kalam. Like we said, we are here to learn. When we came in first, when I learned that you are, what is it, a John Maxwell
License
teacher, and I said, oh, wow. Because um, in the opening pages of the book that we reviewed, and it told you that whether this is your first leadership book or you've read a lot of leadership books, this will definitely set you on fire. And if you care to read about John C. Maxwell, you would know that he's the best word that comes to mind we go for leadership in this world, in nowadays. So when I met you and I learned that, oh no, this one, and I was thinking like, oh no, this is like a John Maxwell encyclopedia. And yeah, we are going to learn way much. So yeah, without wasting time, so we go right into it. Like I mentioned, we've got 11 books. Among them in fitness and in health. An enemy called average, the magic of thinking big. Um, a long walk to freedom. We got the Sierra Leone constitutions, among others. Yeah. So firstly, before we open this 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, like I mentioned a day ago, in the WhatsApp group we opened, members have been getting back to us and saying it is inspiring, life changing, and it has opened their eyes, So some of the things they were assuming, even with the reality check, some members are saying, "Oh, we think we are doing it wrong." But after reading this now, it's way more better. But 11 month, I would want to start with you, Harry. 11 month, 11 book. How has 2021 been so far?
The ABBA, the One Book a Month initiative, has been one of the most exciting things that has happened in my life in 2021, owing to the fact that reading books, I found out that they help you acquire knowledge. In there's this quote that say, um, the best leaders are readers. So having to read 11 books inside this year has helped me so much and has helped me galvanize some really knowledge that will help me in the future in whatever endeavor I might choose. And I hope to continue. I hope to continue to be a member of the One Book a Month initiative, and I think it's very good.
Yeah, closer to you, Alassane. Has anything changed?
A lot actually. It's one of the best ideas that CGSL came up with in 2020, regardless of all the other things that we did. To start reading. As one of the authors in one of the books that we read said that you can reading one book, you're taking in knowledge that someone else has experienced for years, and then you're taking using one book to read all that knowledge, all that experience that he's gone through. And for me, I did not read all the books. I must confess, but I read. I think about seven of the books, and some of these books that I've read have really impacted my life. Have really changed the way I think, the way I see the world, and the way I want to move forward with my life. So I think it has a huge impact in my life, and I believe in the lives of everyone else. And I look forward to for the books 2022. Maybe we can do 24 books. But I don't know if time will permit because it's really tough with you have to move through
Work,
other
family, and
balance work, family, and pleasure as well. We are young people. We cannot move away from that. But it has been really, really exciting this past year to learn a lot from all these great writers and teachers with their wealth of experience. So yeah,
you can pass to Tracy. Yeah, I remember Tracy was one of the people who told us that after we read um, the magic of thinking big. Yeah, I think she had this project that she has been, or what is it, postponing or pushing. She never wanted to commit to it. She had it on the shelf. But when we entered the magic of thinking big and started reading, Tracy told us that she was inspired and moved to continue with her project. And from my own calculation, I think it was a big success. Tracy, you've told us like you've witnessed the change in your own life. Coming down the line, what do you have? What other things can you tell us about this one Pokemon initiative?
Uh, I'll generally say that it's inspiring. For me, it has changed a lot of things. I have already pictured out a routine based on the books I read. And no doubt, Magic of Thinking Big is still my favorite. Even though Long Walk to Freedom and Fela Kuti's, but I got to get information firsthand, which is mostly the most important thing because everybody reads and explains from their perspective. So when you read yourself, you get to understand from your own your own perception. And I have grown, and I believe I can do it. So these books have taught me that other people have with all the stories. So mine is not different. It has taught me to act immediately without postponing. And I'm looking forward to many other books. And I believe that every book has been appointed to me, which I believe is for everyone else. And I can't wait to unfold the list of the other books. I am grateful. I would not as well, so that they will continue. I'm this shy girl, and I keep being myself. I think I underestimated my potential, but with all of this, I feel like I'm achieve a lot more. So thank you, as always.
Yes.
Well, basically, I think
biggest floating book in the world.
just left behind me and move on. I start with my career. I've started pursuing it now because I've forgotten about it a long time ago. I started getting together with people that think big, that want to see change in society. Because I admire a lot of people here at CGSL and their leadership quality. To be honest, I just want to be like some of you guys, like each and everyone here. So that's why I get to mingle with you people daily. In fact, I change my friends, I change who I think. I don't go out with other people because I want a country where I could stand and said, I've done this for my country. I want to be a president. I want to be a minister because I have
It's
something to
possible.
change.
It's very possible.
So it has been great. It has been awesome. And getting to read this book, I was even sharing some of the information with my daddy at his court barrier this morning, saying if you want to be a great leader, these are some of the things that you should implement in this your community, then it will work out. I just like the first one that said the effectiveness of a particular person. I love the word effectiveness. So I have to be responsible to work hard, never to get tired, to keep on pushing, pushing and just push until I'm up there to gain what I want.
Yes, Aisha, for you as well. From my own calculations, if they are wrong, say they are wrong. I think you are one person that choosing Generation Sierra Leone as, I would say, push to pursue your passion. And all of these things they come about because of, as Joel said, the things, the information, and the experience of others that we've exposed ourselves to. 11 months into this initiative, you know, in terms of perspective, attitudes, and behaviors, what has changed for you?
Okay. Honestly, I would say, growing up as a child, I used to read a lot. I liked reading. So, for some funny reasons, I stopped. And it's because sometimes I do underestimate my abilities. I just think that maybe I'll not be able to do this. So let me just sit back and watch others. And sometimes I really do admire people that push for what they want and go for whatever they want. So for some reasons, I've come to realize that whatever you want, you really have to push for it. Because if you just sit back, it will never come to you. You have to go for it. So I'm definitely gonna join you guys. Yes, because when I normally see the review, when you go live, I'll be in my room watching, and I feel somehow. Sometimes I say, okay, so why am I joining people there? Why really? So let me just stop sitting back and thinking that I will not do this. I'm not capable. Let me just push. If along the way I stop, maybe for some reason, there are people around, like I have few people at CGSL that I really admire so much. And they are, like I would say, I do I do copy from them sometimes, and I really want it to continue. So that's why before now I'll sit back, I'll not attend programs, I'll just say, okay, I'm not wanted, I'm not appreciated. But because of how they are treating me now, I see myself as a member, full member. So moving forward, I'm with CJ full time. Not sitting back, no relax, no nothing. I'll just push. And I'm definitely gonna join you guys moving forward for this book initiative. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think it's law 11, the law of your inner circle.
Yes.
Like taken from Sina, like the people you mingle with. You are a product of the people you mingle. Yeah.
kinds of books, novels, love, stories, fiction, crime, all everything. Um, so it reached a point in my life, so I stopped because I had one speaker said, "You become what you read." So I conditioned myself doing that about 5 years ago, just to read my Bibles and maybe study for exams and then pass. Fast forward now. For the past 5 years, I've just conditioned myself to be Christian, all story about Christian life, the Bible, etc., etc. So this year, when CGSM put out the notice, we to develop a culture of reading at least one book a month. I said, what? What these people? So because of my academic workload, so I just decided to start one book, second book, and then came the magic of thinking big. Wow. Well, most of the books you guys do, so I will just read in passing, then again not fully engage in it. Then the magic of thinking big came. I saw a particular nugget. Wow. So what? So I just kept on to that particular nugget over and over for a week. I would just stop there. For a week, then again, during the induction process, the national coordinator decided to ask each and every inductee to review a particular nugget. So I just clinged onto that book for the past 2 months, just reading the magic of thinking, the magic of thinking. Then came again the constitution. Well, the constitution, because it is my field, so I read the constitution, but I was not have the time to take part of the review. So it just changed my whole orientation again about reading. Reading keep you alive. It's good to read, and the what the experience or the what you learn from reading a particular book, as Binta just said, we cannot overemphasize it here. Because now again, because only three books I read, only three books: the Magic of Thinking Big, the Constitution, and then this leadership.
Yes.
And leadership, it is only when, let me just confess, only the last meeting we had at the workshop at Bad Guy. Everybody was talking about this leader. I said, wow, I said this.
Let me dive in.
Yes, let me just. I'm yet to finish it anymore, but it's very much impressive, mind blowing.
You've said
And
things
yes,
that you think you can implement.
of course,
Yeah.
leadership, they are not born. Well, yes, some are born, yes, but you can
Learn.
invent yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the magic thing about the book. You can reinvent yourself to lead. And I believe um, we are moving in the right direction, because if you want to change the mindset of um, people, I believe let them read, read, and read. So I want to thank the leadership of CGSL very much. This is a good initiative, and I'm very much pleased again to be here. Thank you.
Yes, you can pass the mic to Anto. Antoinette, yeah, to some extent, you are as well a leader in your own domain. You know, it takes courage to get this far. But another thing in this book that we are reading, let me look inside my mind to see the particular number. I think it's law 12 that talks about empowerment, the law of empowerment. You know, I think it takes like courageous leaders to empower others. I just want to ask you, what are your strategies in empowering others to take up from you? I think that is law 21 to leave a legacy. Yeah.
Well, as Mr. Tadiba was just saying that some of us say reading is my hobby. As some know, I love cooking more than books. If you want me to be happy,
but I saw you looking at some cooking books down
yeah,
there.
I love cooking. Everything about my life is just based on cooking. I'll cook for the rest of the day.
And you never get tired.
2015, 2016, I met someone who told me that you love cooking. I know that, but you have to read. If you want to empower yourself more, you need to be reading books. This will help you, but with your studies, you can do more. And I said, okay, fine, I'll try. And I'm really trying, but it's really not easy. Reading is so boring, very boring. Um, if I'm in the kitchen, I will be there for the rest of the day. I will not tire. But no sooner than I took my book, I want to sleep. I don't like reading.
Yeah, small, small.
I'm just doing it because
You want to pass exams?
I want to pass my exams. Then someone is monitoring my every reading.
Yeah, okay.
So
Sure.
it's really difficult for me, but thank God I'm getting there.
Yes.
I'm doing it, but reading is difficult for me.
Yes.
I love to be in the kitchen.
Yeah, small, small. I just want to emphasize that you take the advice of the person you met 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That you love the arts and passionate about cooking, but you can as well take books to
Well,
improve on that.
probably I would love to be part of the
One book a month initiative. Definitely.
Maybe that will help me to do more.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person. If I read something here, it will be with me for the rest of my life. I don't like reading. I prefer more cramming because I don't want to read a lot. I'll cram the whole book. That's
Okay.
all.
Okay. Thank you.
But
Thank
I would
you.
love to be part of the one book.
No worries. Nothing.
Maybe
No.
that will help me.
It will definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. And Adams, this 11 one, what has changed for you?
A lot has changed.
Like,
I'm going to say it from the depths of my heart. So the One Book a Month initiative has changed a lot in my life. Before now, I'll be shy to hold this mic like this and speak, to join people when they are going out and stand in front of the crowd of people to talk. But with the help of the One Book a Month, especially the magic of thinking big, a lot has changed. Now I'm here, I'm holding the mic, speaking with all confidence. I think reading is an inspiring thing to do. It's an amazing thing to do, and I'm advising everyone, to be reading books, and if possible, we get other members who are not part of CGSL to join us in the One Book a Month initiative. That would be awesome. Um, One of the things that reading has changed in my life is a fear. In the One Book a Month initiative, the book The Magic of Thinking Big, we have a new jet which states or talks about fear. Before now, when I'm sick, go to the hospital, I'll be worried about my health and everything. But after reading The Magic of Thinking Big, that has changed. I'm enjoying reading. And also, Tracy mentioned something here. In reading, you gather a lot of knowledge that people, even if you live for 150 years, the experience that people have, you just get them in one book by reading a book. So I think that's an amazing thing. So I'm advising each and everyone and also encouraging the leadership of choosing generation, to extend this opportunity to people that are not part of the choosing generation Sierra Leone to be part of the One Book a Month initiative.
thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes. Mr. Momo.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, I will throw it again to you. 11 months. How has it been?
Thank you very much. After university, I've been finding it difficult, or let's say not interested in reading, because sometimes I find it a bit boring after university. But after I came in contact with the One Book a Month initiative, I think that ignited the fire within me, to continue reading. People say you are the product of the people you surround yourself with or what you read.
Yeah.
So I think if let's say 60% of we the youth in Sierra Leone are engaged in reading, I think this place will be a better place because I come to realize that um,
during this 11 months, this reading has guided me, in taking certain decisions, and I'm seeing the results in some of those decisions. So I think, and positive ones. So I think if we can have bulk of the youth and population in this country, I think, so really, I think it's Sierra Leone will be a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. For me personally, it has been life changing because at times I'm amazed by some of the things I see. I have this. I think you get content, but again, when you see some things in books, you get to realize that I do not know nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think yeah, and I think that's one of the things that Maxwell mentioned in this book, like about leadership. At times there are things you don't know that you do not know. You understand? Like you're ignorant of being ignorant, like, and there are others you know that you do not know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was mind changing for me. Like, okay, so these things, there are things like you do not know that you do not know them. Like how can you describe Pluto now? I know there are books, but I do not know that, like I do not know. So I thank you all for your contributions, and I want to now invite our captain of the captain. So Alice, take us through, yes, another thing. So until then, I just want us to um pay close attention. So gulp as much as we can.
Very good.
Yeah.
And yes,
Good. Thank you so much.
yes.
Great. I'm going to take my mask off. If that's okay.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Good, good, good.
Yeah.
Well, it is great to be back in Sierra Leone. I want to tell you, we've been kind of stuck. It's not so easy operating a passenger ship in the middle of COVID. We got stuck last year over in the Caribbean. In fact, for 5.5 months, we couldn't open the door on the ship. You can imagine. I had 419 crew, and we could not open the door on the ship. We're in Jamaica. Total lockdown. My wife and I were in a meeting in the States, and her father went in the hospital. So we ran down quick. They said, Randy, you got to get back to the ship. So we went to their home, took him to the hospital. I said, I got to go to the ship. I'll see you in the next day or two. The next day, the airline shut down. So for 5.5 months, she was stuck in another country, and I was on the ship. And we talk about leadership. This is probably my number one. I'm glad I read the books. And there's some things about leadership you just have to live through it. You know what I mean? And when we found out that we were leaving the Caribbean, we were sailing east. We weren't going west down through the Panama Canal and South America, that we were going to be going east toward Africa. Then I heard we were going to Sierra Leone. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is my second time here. We were here in 2010. Maybe some of you were on the ship in 2010. And so Kim and I were just excited to come back to Sierra Leone. If I were to like define Sierra Leone's, become Sierra Leone's,
Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leoneans. There you go. I mean, I've just had the blessing to be in many countries of the world, 110 countries of the world, all over the world, and see many different cultures, many different peoples. But if I were to define you, and just what I heard today, I just loved it. I just loved it. It was amazing. Thank you, every one of you, for what you shared. It was heartwarming. But I don't know if you know the word grit, true grit. It's in other words, true grit is when you lose every game in the season, but you keep going on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it is very true. They talk about the war and they talk about Ebola and all of that. But what I've seen, and now as I come back, and then in West Africa multiple times, I just see people of grit that you get up and you're going to keep going. And if more people in this country had the attitudes that you had, this nation is going to rise. It is going to rise. Yes, it is. It is. Very, very true. Well, I don't have a whole lot of time. We actually have we have a curfew here. We have the port closes the gates at 6 p.m. That gives us 14 minutes. So I'm going to have to talk a little faster. The ship actually shuts down at 6, so people have to start leaving. And this venue is going to be used for another event that's happening. So they're actually waiting to come through that door. So I'm going to talk a little faster than what I thought it was. I usually talk too fast. My wife says slow down. But I do want to say, if you want to get another coffee or something, they're going to be closing that down. If you want to get another juice or coffee, just make your way back there. I'm going to kind of keep going. My world, my job on this is a floating city. Yes, it's the largest floating book fair in the world. Do you know how you become the largest floating book fair in the world? You're the only floating book fair in the world. See what I mean? And actually, there are other
That's
smaller
interesting.
ships. It's easy to make the Guinness Book of Records when you're the only floating book fair, you know.
So,
And we have made the Guinness Book. Our other ship to do those as well. But there are other smaller ships that go down the Amazon and other places around the world and take books. But you know, books is just reading. Leaders are readers. You're
Sure.
going to see them on one of my slides. And if a nation wants to rise, they have to read. They have to be educated. I wish I could name the country and the top person in this country, but I won't do that because I know this online. But we were in a country in South America, and I was sitting at a table with the president of the country and the director of education, the minister of education. And they said, he said, our country doesn't read much. I said, why? He said, because our books are so expensive. I said, why are your books expensive? He says, because the duty is so high. I said, well, can I give you a suggestion? What's that, Mr. Greavy? Drop the duty on books. If you want to rise a nation, you have to have readers. People have to learn. That's what has to happen. And he looks at the president. He says, we have parliament meeting tomorrow. We're going to make a difference tomorrow. We're going to parliament. We're going to drop the like, wow. I thought
Impactful.
Randy
Yeah.
actually made a difference in this country. It's beautiful. I am actually personal friends with John Maxwell. I was trained by him and by his team. I actually have a web page and all of that, but I don't use it because I'm on the ship actually living out John Maxwell training. We right now have 350 crew members from 50 nationalities. Can you imagine? Right now we have about 50 Africans from 10 different African countries just on the ship alone. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? But then you add Asia, you add the States and Canada and South America and Papua New Guinea and Japan and Korea and Australia. I mean, they're from all over the world. And John actually says, how I train my leaders. I never forget this statement he made. John said, you know what I do, Randy? When I want my best, I take my top leaders and I send them to a nonprofit volunteer organization.
Yep.
Because leading a volunteer organization is the hardest organization to lead. You know why? Because I don't pay you. I just say show up and come and help. Well, if Johnny's, I don't know, I'm calling you Johnny, but Peter, if Peter says, well, Randy, I only feel like working 50% today, the boss would say, if you work 50%, I'm gonna pay you 50%. Or if you're not gonna work, you get fired. But when people are volunteering, all these people, and they've come to serve for 2 years, it's a very different kind of leadership. And we are a city. Yes, we have a library. Yes, we have a bank. Yes, we have a police station. Yes, we have water makers. We have generators. Yes, we have a school on board. We have a head teacher. It's a city. This is a city. We have 31 couples, families on board. We have a bunch of kids on board. We have teenagers. So it's a floating city. And so that's kind of what I do during the day is oversee. I'm kind of like the mayor. That's cool. I actually met with the captain right before I came down here. I'd like to talk today about what do we mean learning to become a person of influence. Learning to become a person of influence. It's unique, actually, because leadership actually is influence. Believe it or not, if you think of any leader that they're influential people. Now, if you're leader of a gang, like a bad gang, you're still a leader.
Yes.
You're still influencing people. So
Sure.
there's different types of leaders, and we'll work through that a little bit. But here's kind of the things we want to talk about. That influence equals leadership. Leadership equals influence. And before you actually become a leader, we have to understand that we are influencers. It doesn't say importance. That's a big difference. People don't often understand that. They think that that leaders are important. But the difference is actually leaders are influential.
Yeah.
And if you actually read that book, 21 Irrefutable Laws, it trains you how to become influential. And so the goal is not to become important, it is influential. And everybody in this room actually is influential. You know that 80% of leaders attract followers? It's amazing. It's amazing percentage. 80% of leaders attract followers. But guess what? Only 10% of leaders attract leaders. And it even gets worse. Only 5% of leaders reproduce leaders. Go figure that one out. That's one of my goals on board, to actually reproduce myself, to work myself out of a job, so I can come back to Sierra Leone and just have some fun with you guys and get off the ship. But it's very interesting if you think of it, that's what leadership is. So the goal of training, this little training, is number one, better understanding of what is influence. So we understand when we leave the room. I always think when I'm walking down the gangway, most of my crew come for 2 years. What do I want to accomplish as you're walking down the gangway? So in other words, start with the end in mind. Don't start with the beginning in mind. Start with the end. When it's all said and done, when I'm walking off the door, what do I want them to understand? Who do I want them to be and to become? So we talk about influence. Who do we influence? We talk about the world's most influential people at the time. You know, you look around, most of these, I think, there are some international people on here, but it's interesting, the world's top 100 influential people. You probably know some of these. But now when you ask the question, do I influence? Very interesting. Number one, do I influence leaders or followers? Both are good, but it is different. Do I influence thinkers or doers? There's a big difference. I actually need doers on this ship. If we're going to actually fulfill our vision and our dream of what we do, I need people that are doers. I don't want to produce thinkers. Yeah, you got to think first, what you got to do. Are you leading big picture people or little picture people? It's okay to lead little picture people. But you know, if I'm going to lead people to become who God actually has inspired them to become, I want big picture people. I want visionaries. That's who I want. Am I going to lead self-centered people or other-centered people? You read any of John's books, let me tell you, his whole life is about centering on other people and not himself. You know, one of John's favorite quotes is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Sure.
You know it. It's true. I can tell you for the people on the ship. They don't care how much I know. They don't care how many years or how many countries. They don't care about that. They just care that when they need someone to cry on someone's shoulder and listen to them, when one of their family members has died of COVID on the other side of the world and I can't send them home because I don't have an airplane, there's no airports open. We've had a mom and a daughter and a sister die within 24 hours.
Wow.
And the crew member could not go home to bury their mother or their sister. How do you deal with that? Okay? Positive or negative people. Who are you leading? Think about the people. I think this lady here, you were telling, you changed your group of people that you hang around with.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. Are you going to hang around positive people or negative thinkers? You know what I mean? Successful or unsuccessful. It just goes on casual or passionate people, givers or takers. You know them all, don't you?
Yep.
It's so amazing that's what influence is who you're hanging, the type of people you're working with, leading with, trying to inspire. Now, how do you influence others? Number one, you can do it by force. You know, if you're in prison, I don't know if you've ever been in prison. Don't raise your hand. I have been in plenty of prisons, but we go to the ship. We go and do eyeglass and dental, and we go to bless the prisoners. But I've been in enough prisons to know that you live in a prison and you're ruled by force. You will do it this way because you're handcuffed and you know. So how do you rule? You can rule by force. You can rule by intimidation, just by intimidating people. You know what I mean? Does that make you a good leader? Some people do it. We know some evil dictators around the world.
Yes.
I've met them. They've been on the ship, and they're the most calmest, quietest people. You just can't believe it. But the locals say, no, no, no. He made the river bloody. He made the river, and he killed so many people. You know what I mean? And they would leave the ship when they be persons. I'm telling you, I can't say names or countries, but trust me, I met them. Like, wow, intimidation, manipulation is a little different than intimidation. It's manipulating, getting somebody to do something they don't want to do, but they do it anyway. By your position. So I'm the leader. I'm the boss man. I'm the director. I'm the captain. So you just follow me because of who I am, because of what it says on my badge. You see, that's another type of leadership. There's persuasion. Okay, it's a softer, quieter way of leading, and it is sometimes as a leader I do have to persuade. Right now we have a water problem. It's really hard getting water on the ship. I go through 40 tons of water a day. We got laundry, we've got dish cleaning, we've got all kinds of needs of water through our generators. It's been really hard to get water from the nation here. It's just really, really, and then some of it we get actually has little silt in it, and then it clogs our, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And so we've been telling everybody, just don't let the tap run when you're brushing your teeth. Take a 3-minute shower. Do this, do that. You know what I mean? So I try to persuade them. So I've had to shut the hot water off. So now we have cold water showers. Nobody's complaining. But how do we influence? I take this man, our founder, George, by respect. I'll tell you why so many people in our organizations, about 5,000 of us across the world in 118 countries, it's because we respect. Because this man is an honorable man. And he always is. And the people he chooses to lead are honorable people. So when we ask, how do we influence people? It's people who respect us. How do we influence? This is my family. I have 3 daughters. She just got married. Her husband is
Beautiful.
There's my oldest. There's my middle one. I have 5 grandchildren. He wasn't so happy that day. But anyway, now there's 2 more added to that. But can I tell you, my influence was first with my wife, right here, Kim. She's running around the ship right now. I met her. She wouldn't talk to me when I met her the first time in the Pizza Hut after the football game, and I found out why. You know why? Because I told my cousin in the car on the way home after the football game, I'm going to marry her someday. I told her, and he said that at my wedding. But you know why she wouldn't talk to me? She was only 12 years old. She was 12 and I was 14. And she wasn't interested in boys. Let me tell you, my influence starts here with my wife and my family and my kids. That's where it begins. So who do we influence? Think about it. It's amazing. When do we influence others? Leaders are readers. Think about it. I want to just back that up. Leaders are readers. There's a line, something a little wrong with my screen here, but that is so very true. Leaders are readers. Check this out. All right. Here's John's books. All right. He's got a bunch of them here. Put your dream to the test. I'm just throwing them down here. Got all these books. I'll leave one to the last here. You got, here it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. No, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Different, isn't it? We say in the say, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. No. Sometimes you learn by losing, right? By making a few mistakes. John Maxwell, everyone communicates, but few connect. Another really good book. Few connect. We have these for sale. That's the one you just read. Let me tell you a funny story. I'm with John Maxwell in Orlando, Florida. He was doing a training, and he brings out his new book. Now, mind you, I don't want to offend anybody, but John Maxwell actually did this. So I'm just doing what John did. Hi, John. If you're watching, we're going to take a picture and send it to John. We're going to send it to John Maxwell. He's going to love it. He's going to love it. Already. John Maxwell walks on stage with his new book. He's so excited about his new book. You don't get it, do you?
I get it.
You do get it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you get it. Now you get it. And everybody starts laughing. He's like, "What are you laughing at? You thought his fly was down or something?" Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He said, "I wanted to write this book, but my wife says you are never going to write that book." He says, "So I'm going to publish it after I die." That's John Maxwell. He's so funny, so funny. But anyway, leaders, how to influence leaders, sense teachable moments. It's those moments when someone just in this space and you walk into their life and you just share with them some wisdom and discernment. It's amazing. Leaders sense breakthrough places. Sometimes there's places, maybe this is the place today. I don't know. This may be the place where there's some kind of breakthrough, like something you see on the screen. Wow. Catalytic times. We are catalytic. It's amazing. I could show you pictures. Our average count, yesterday we had 1,000 people on the ship.
Wow.
All right. 1,000 people came. But our average over the last 2 years before COVID, 4,350 every day on the ship. 4,300, 1,200,000 a year. That's a lot of people.
Wow.
Okay. So it's catalytic times. And all of a sudden, all this stuff comes together and kaboom, it goes like crazy. Why do you influence other people? Trust. People want to trust you.
Yeah.
You know what a politician that's not trustworthy? I've heard about them. In many places, I ask, how are things going with politics here? Well, so why do you influence others? Or where do you influence others? I always remember I was in Guatemala, and there I was, just playing I was just doing this little trick. These little kids, I just put this little thing in my hand, and I go, it's so simple. I said, okay, boys and girls, what hand is it in? Put it behind my back. In that one, no, it's in this one. It was here the whole time. Then I do it again. I said, this time, I'm not going to put it behind my back. Just like this. With these kids, they're throwing the ball up, playing. I'm going to put it in my hand. I'm going to ask you now, I'm not going to put it behind my back, but what hand is it in? That one or that one? It's right there under my ring. You just didn't see it. It was here the whole time.
That's a piece of magic. Yeah.
But there I was just playing with the kids. All these kids had lost all their family in the big volcano. What about 80,000 people died, and we were there just helping them in their houses and having fun. And who walks up? The United Nations acting general and the commander of the army.
Wow.
So I went from playing with kids, having a blast, wiping their tears, to talking to the UN director and the commander.
Influencing the leaders.
There's leaders of the world. So you flip, you put the ball away and you walk into another space. Say, hello, sir. It's been amazing being in your country. Where you're always influential wherever you walk, wherever you step. So insights, I'm just going to go through this real fast because I don't have much time. Come on, Randy. Oh, whoever did this. There we go. It's actually the leadership is influence, number one. Leadership, if we had 6 weeks, this is a 6-week course. Leadership, we do in all areas. Leadership comes with responsibility. All right. Leading with others is positive or negative. You can be the drug king guy, can be negative. Our influence can grow, and lastly, add value. What does John Maxwell say? Value others and add value to others. Value others and add value to others. And right now, I want to add value to you. Just stay seated. Don't move. Don't move. I want to add a little value to you. This is a book I absolutely want you to read. All right? It is John Maxwell's. Can I tell you, this is my favorite book. I like 21 Laws of Leadership. But this is 15 invaluable laws of growth. Wow. This is personal. You see, the thing is, you got to start here in your heart and your soul, your hands and your feet. This is where it starts. These are just 15, not 21. But trust me, read this book and start applying it to your life. Because leadership is discipline. You got to become disciplined. And this is the book that will help you walk the world of discipline. So God bless you. value others and add value to others.
Thank you.
There you go. There's Derek. Who else can get one? Oh, wow. Oh, there you go. All right.
Thank you.
Good. I'm writing a book someday. I will give you my book. It's called Just Show Up.
It promises to be a bestseller.
But you know what? That's what you did today. You just showed up. And that's what happens. You show up into people's life, you become an influencer.
Yeah.
God bless you all. I really have to move you off. I got a whole bunch of people outside that door.
Thank you.
Oh, we got these
What if we can do this online? I mean, we really need that 45 days man up here.
Joel, can I see? How do I? Là, continue. Okay. Guys.